Well, welcome to the first episode of the Wack Pack. Got my friend here, Sean. He's a master electrician's apprentice, and he's going to tell us about, I don't know, what are you going to tell us about? You can tell us some stories, some cool things that happen, some horrible things that happen.
Well, I'm not going to incriminate myself or anything like that, but I'll bounce off whatever you got on your list.
What? I don't got a list. What are you talking about?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, of course. No,
the list up here.
The list up here, yeah. So first off, what actually did you do? Like, what kind of stuff did you do?
I was just a commercial and industrial electrician and apprentice the whole time.
Yeah, see,
Never got my journeyman license.
Does that mean like you made commercials for them, or does that mean like you did like big businesses?
Yeah, well, a commercial building is any building that basically isn't a house and
Okay.
isn't a factory, because if it's ginormous, they manufacture something along those lines, it's industrial.
Okay. And like, what kind of like electrical stuff? Do you like go in and like change fuses, or you go in there and like rewire whole things? You do new construction? What is it that you have experience in?
New construction and remodeling, or just adding on to already existing buildings,
Okay.
like really old buildings, like
Okay.
UNT dormitories that were built in the 60s.
Big old things. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
I actually have an interesting question. When I was working at Discount Tire, they were like adding new machines and stuff like that, and they did wiring for those machines, and they would take like the wires, they stick it through a metal, like a metal sleeve, and they'd wire. You know what I mean? Like instead of having like a rubber sleeve that's attached to the wall, it'd be like a metal sleeve bolted to the wall and the ceiling.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
It sounds like it could have been flex, or if it looked like it was manufactured together, it was probably MC.
Okay. Well, my concern is like, why would you use like a potentially conductive material as like a sleeve, or is that not really a concern?
I mean, it is. If it went to that, you would hope that it would go to ground
Okay.
on purpose.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And like, so you want to make a short circuit that goes to ground and wouldn't travel along the.
Well, most of the time, I never witnessed a failure of the wire already pulled through flex or conduit.
Okay.
So if you pull it through and it's messed up, you're gonna figure that out pretty quick
Yeah.
when you turn it on.
How would you do that? What would happen?
You would use a megger.
Oh, I'm sorry. A what? What do you call me?
A megging machine, I guess.
Okay,
and
all
you
right.
hit it and send current through each wire. And if it's grounding out or something, you'll get that in the readings, and you can be like, okay, we got a break in the line. Something's.
So it'll tell you if
That's
it's safe to touch, basically, or it'll tell
Well,
you.
it's safe to touch. I mean,
Okay.
not when the megger's on it, but until you hook it up and turn it on, it's just copper and insulation.
Okay, so that's just to tell you what the circuits are, whether it's grounded, whether it's a complete circuit. Okay, I got you. So power is like, what's the biggest unit, like biggest measure of power? Like, is like it has this many volts. It's a 12-volt battery. Is there different types of 12 volts that would give a different amount of power, or what? How do you measure power?
Well, there is two main different types of electricity, which is AC and DC.
Okay.
DC
So
is
the
for
music?
like batteries. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It usually just plays through the wires. Yeah, but 12 volts AC really isn't going to do anything, and 12 volts DC isn't going to do anything either, because human skin actually has resistance to electricity up to about 50 volts.
Okay. And what is that in ohms?
In ohms?
Yeah, because that's how you measure resistance, right? Ohms.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I just know that because I've touched and tied down low voltage like control wiring that wasn't 50 volts. But if you have any lacerations on your hands or anything and it can go through the skin, it'll shock you.
Okay. So you don't have
it's
the.
your skin yourself. It's your skin itself that has resistance up to 50 volts.
Okay. And I guess that's why you don't like, you can handle a toaster, but you can't handle a toaster in a bathtub because the water will reduce the resistance of your skin. Is that what happens?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
No? Do you know how that happens? Elucidate me?
Well, I don't really know anything about toasters, to be honest. I assume it just has a heating coil in there, a heating element.
Well, I mean, the idea is like if you drop a toaster in
Yeah,
the
and if
thing,
you
it'll.
drop it, it will. I think if you dropped it now, it would probably shock you pretty good, but it would instantly trip.
Okay.
And modern toasters probably have built-in safety measures at this point because that's such a stereotype.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna end it, like people have been saying that for 30 years. Talk about throwing toasters in bathtubs.
Okay. So obviously they have internal, on like a common electrical appliances that may be in a restroom or a bathroom, like, a blow dryer or a toaster, really anything else, because you got to have your toast in beans when you're on the toilet, because there's no better place to eat than on the toilet. Am I right?
No,
No.
no, I absolutely would not eat on the toilet, dude.
No?
No, because you
Because,
got like bathroom particles like in the air, dude.
well,
Even
yeah,
if
it's a
it's a
bathroom.
very minute part, I don't want to put that on my food and eat it. You know
Well,
what I
you're
mean?
breathing it in, so how different is it?
Immensely.
I get, yeah, okay, okay.
It might not actually be that much of a health concern, but it's just gross in my mind. I don't want to do that.
Okay, no, I get it, I get it.
Now it's a sound question though. Like you're breathing it in regardless. Fair
Right,
enough. I
right,
still don't want to eat it.
right. That's why they don't want you to sit on the toilet too long. You'll breathe it in, you'll get a prolapsed colon. So both those things can happen if you sit on the toilet too long. Was it like 5-10 minutes you can't do it past? Do you know?
I've never heard that before.
Never heard
The
that
only
before?
reason I wouldn't hang out there in too long is my legs would fall asleep. You know what I mean?
I do get that. I do get that. Back onto the power though. What originally started this is that internal breakers on like breakers or fuses. What would trip on like if you dropped it in water?
They both would. It's
They both
whatever would be the next upstream device.
Okay.
Just stop it.
They both work the same thing. They're just interchangeable words, or
They're not interchangeable.
No?
Fuses blow. Yeah. Yeah. Fuses actually break to interrupt the line.
okay. And that's what you mean. Like if you burn out a fuse, it means
You have to replace it.
okay.
But if a breaker trips, you can just go back out there. You know
Okay.
what I mean, and obviously, if it's still tripping, if it's tripping for a reason, and you try to close it, it will reopen again.
Okay. And then do you have any idea what causes that, or
There's a plethora of reasons. It's like a case by case basis. I was a new construction electrician for about 2.5 years, but then for 3 more years, I was a tag technician.
yeah? Oh, get that. Ooh. Don't want to be found on
Ooh.
foot finder. Hold on.
Oh,
Sorry. You're a technician.
Yeah, I was a tag technician, which was more about remediation and maintaining existing electrical equipment. So I was actually a thermographer. So we would use thermal imaging equipment on electricity to detect heating problems,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay. Because I guess the waste would like build up somewhere and you can kind of tell where that is.
Well, dust can build up, and even without a heating problem, if we saw something that was dusty, even a little dusty, we would write it up in Tag Pro, which is it's the program that Tag uses. Tag is actually a franchise, but I'm sure there's other versions of Tag technicians
Okay.
that aren't through Tag themselves.
Okay. Now, I've got a huge question, and I'm sure a lot of people have opinions on this. A lot of people have opinions on this. Bigger's better, right?
hmm
So, bigger fuses is better fuses?
It depends. If you put like a ginormous fuse in a circuit and a problem happens downstream, but it's a small voltage circuit, low voltage circuit, whatever you want to call it, the fuse could be so big that it doesn't even detect any problems ever. So it never interrupts the line,
Okay.
which could potentially, if there's a problem, it'll send it past the fuse to the next upstream device, which will either catch it or could potentially damage it, cause
Okay.
a fire.
So, okay, so it causes a fire. How would it do that? Because like you said, it's a low voltage, low energy system, right? How would something catastrophic happen on something so low powered? Do you have any idea? Or is there no such thing as a low powered when you talk about electricity?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the lowest common voltage you'll find is 122.08.
And is that the number of volts?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what you'll see on every line.
And that's like outlets or that's power lines?
That's not power lines.
Okay.
No, I don't know what the power lines are off the top of my head, but that's going to the house and supplying the whole thing.
Okay. So where would you find 122.08? Is that what I said? One.
Yeah, 122.08, that's right. You'd find it at your panel and everything downstream.
Okay, so that's what hits the breaker box in your place, and everything feeds off that then.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. No, it all passes through, well, first your meter and then your panel.
okay,
And then from there, it goes off, it branches out to whatever circuits, wherever.
okay, gotcha.
But you only see 208 specifically on things that are taking more than one circuit, like your washer or dryer plugs.
Oh, right, because those need a lot of power. They
And if you check hot to hot with a meter, you get 208
okay, so you can actually
or
check
or
each
240.
outlet and actually measure the end result of the voltage, the wattage, the whatever it is. Don't let me stop you though.
Yeah, that thing you're saying. Each outlet you should be able to get 120.
Okay, awesome.
120 is whatever you're plugging into it would need.
Okay.
Now, it does start to change from circuit to circuit. Hopefully on the breakers you notice numbers. That's telling you how many amps are being distributed to that circuit.
So that's how many of those really, really old 1990s energy drinks with like the lightning bolt on it. That's basically Mountain Dew with like 100 milligrams of caffeine.
Are those that old?
Man, they were old when I was growing up. I was growing up in the 90s, and I was drinking those like Mountain Dews, and that's probably why I ended up the way I did. Short, only 5'10", not a monstrosity like you, 5'17".
517, 518 in boots.
5'18" in boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, every inch counts.
Yeah. I'd take them somewhere else, but beggars and choosers.
Beggars and choosers. Beggars and choosers.
Yeah. When you get into theory and stuff like that, I really am speaking out of turn. You know what I mean? I don't want to say something that's not true. I probably already said something that could be disputed.
Right.
I didn't go through IEC or a trade school. I did all my learning on the job.
Okay.
But a lot of apprentices go through trade schools, and that's where you get more into theory, more into learning like the equations and what's actually supposed to be happening. I could try to diagnose a problem on a messed up circuit, but beyond that, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, since you have like hands-on experience, not like theoretical experience, that doesn't really matter. Are they? And let's be honest, a graduate from the school knows less than you when, as far as like actual like diagnosing, right? Or would you say that's not?
Well, it depends if they've ever been in the field. If you went through all 4 years of trade school, 5 years in some places,
Right. They have you do like a sort of class in the field on a job site or something.
well, they have labs in the schools. Like they'll bring in electrical equipment. It's a controlled environment, obviously, but it's not like they are completely oblivious. They only know the book. Hopefully, they like understand how to turn a screwdriver
Right.
and stuff like that. I could probably outwork them if we're running conduit. You know?
Right, because you've got the muscle memory. Okay.
Yeah, because I have the experience doing that, and I've done it thousands of times.
Okay.
So it's like really hammered home, and they might have done it once, if at all. I don't even think they're going to teach you how to run conduit in trade school.
No, because like you said, they do the theoretical things, and I preparing for this, I did a
They'll
quick
teach you how to do bends,
bends.
not actually like hanging it up and raring and rowing.
Right. I did like a very, very light little Google search, like theory and stuff like that, and it was like there's like 12 theories of electricity, and like they're like different theoretical problems that you can have, and I'm like, this is boring. No one wants to hear about that. We want to hear about destruction and whatnot, but we want to avoid destruction. As someone who's done this, what are some very simple tips us laymen can do to avoid catastrophe?
Well, first off, if a breaker is tripped, don't just keep throwing it back. Like if it keeps tripping over and over, you can have like a one trip. Oh, I accidentally plugged too many things in, overdrew on the circuit and it tripped.
Okay.
But if it's tripping over and over, that's for a reason. Don't just ignore that.
Okay.
And don't stack shit in front of your panel.
Oh, is that bad?
It's actually an OSHA violation, but obviously in residential homes, nobody's checking.
Right.
But you're not supposed to have stuff 3 foot in front of your panel in case something happens. Like there was a time where we were in a building and a strip light that was on the wall caught on fire, and it was an electrical fire. So
Right.
before you even get a fire extinguisher,
You got to turn the circuit off, right?
Yeah, you got to turn the circuit off. Now, in
Okay.
that case, it's a light. You can turn it off at the switch. But if it was something else, I would need to go find where it's fed from, because even if you try to put it out, it's just going to keep happening and getting worse.
Okay. On that note, I actually read something where it's like, if you're not using a device or a plug, you want to de-energize the switch or the outlet. Do you have any idea what that is? What that would be considering, or because
Say it again?
see if I wrote it better than I can remember. Switch off an electrical socket to save energy. Does that make sense to you? Like if you're not going to use the stuff out of it?
Switch off an electrical
Socket.
outlet.
Yeah. Can you do that? Or is that
I don't think that would make a difference. I could be wrong, but if you're
Okay.
not plugging anything into it, it's not drawing anything.
well, I mean, if you have stuff plugged in, but you're not using anything in there, because
think it'd
there
be
is
easier-
there's vampiric draws normally, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
I think
it
they're trying
can
to
be. If
avoid that.
something's plugged into it, then yeah, that'd be a case by case basis. But I would think that even what it's drawing would be pretty minute.
Okay.
I think you'd only be saving like a couple dollars
Across the time period, like a month or whatever.
Yeah, or like between your bills.
Oh,
you'd
okay.
only be saving like a couple dollars.
So basically, what you're
still
telling
think
us,
It would be easier to unplug it than turn the outlet off.
okay, yeah, because I was actually looking at a list of like potential fallacies because that's what I was looking up originally. Yeah, the fallacy is switch off electrical sockets to save energy. That's false. Most sockets are always energized anyway. So like even if you, I don't know how you would do that because if you break it at the breaker box, it would de-energize it, wouldn't it? Like it would be not letting anything through, or it would still allow a little bit.
No, it'd be completely dead if you killed it. If you killed the breaker feeding it.
Okay.
Another problem with that though is that aside from like your washer and dryer, you're not going to have dedicated circuits to a single outlet. They're going to be running daisy chaining off of each other.
Oh, well, that's
So
bad, isn't it?
well, no,
No?
not really. It just means if you kill the breaker, you're going to kill a bunch of outlets. You're not just going to kill one.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So like in most rooms, is there normally like a single daisy chain per room, or is there cases where it's like a room has two different feeds into the breakers?
That totally goes up to the engineer. I just
Okay.
do what I'm told off the blueprints. You know what I mean?
No, that makes
I'm not
sense.
like, this room really feels like it needs 3 outlets. You know? No, whatever the engineer put on the blueprints is what that room will get.
Okay.
He
And
works up like
you didn't
it
really
needs it.
care to pay attention or anything like you're just this is the job, bloop, 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 following all the the electrical safety stuff that you do as a advanced. You said you were an apprentice, the master apprentice, yeah.
Master apprentice.
You had your own helper, so I'll call you a master apprentice.
Yeah, I did have my own helper. And there's a lot of apprentices that just never get their license.
But they're
They call them CAs, career apprentices. Because
Mm.
they wouldn't want the responsibility of a journeyman, or maybe they're a bad test taker, but I met plenty of people that had their apprentice license 10 years or longer.
I can't imagine doing like would that be considered like in like a normal job environment? Would that be considered like an entry level job, or what would that be considered?
Well, apprentices, obviously it's the same title when you hire on day one,
Okay.
but they're getting trusted with different responsibilities on a case by case basis.
Okay.
And the pay reflects that too.
Okay. Because
So-
you can have like a poor apprentice. You can have like your 10-year apprentices making like vastly different sums.
Oh yeah, hell
Okay.
yeah, dude. Most of those CAs would make the same, if not maybe even more than a first year journeyman would make.
Okay.
Like the pay is straight enough for them to not care. you know.
Okay.
But obviously, if they had gotten their journeymans when they were able to test into it at 4 years in Texas.
Hey, you can't dox us. They can't know that we're in Texas.
whoa,
Whoa. I mean,
Yeah. Well, it is. It's state by state controlled electric licenses are.
okay. All
And
right.
so they have different mandates for each state.
Different states. Okay.
I'm not sure if the years change across the states, but you need 8,000 hours. That's 2,000 hours a year.
Okay. And no, that makes sense because what is it? 40 hours a week, 52 weeks, 400 times 5,
If you
2,000.
work
Yeah,
your-
that's right.
Yeah, if you work your straight 40 and no OT, but you show up every day, you should get
That's 2,000 a year.
2,080 hours a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Perfect. Awesome.
They used to not even count OT towards your license, but now they do.
They better freaking what?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know why. They just really wanted you to have like 4 years on the dot. I don't really feel like you're going to make enough OT hours to make a significant dent in that because I was working 50, 60 hours weeks for the majority of my
Well, that would
electrical
have
career.
killed you right at 3 years though. That would have knocked a whole year off you.
It did not make that big of a difference.
Okay.
Yeah. It was still like once I called them and checked my hours, I was like, damn, that's it? You know, but
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt when I was training. Because as a commercial driver, the place I went to required I do 100 hours log driving, and it's supposed to take like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but I was doing it for like 6 or 7. I'm like, there's no freaking way. I definitely had more than 100 hours, but I can see how maybe they're like not counting everything or something. I don't know. Businesses would be tripping. That's all I know.
yeah, well, it definitely could be a disparity in like the hours logged, you know, because I definitely felt like one of the companies I worked for at least like these hours ain't right, you know what I mean? But what am I gonna do?
They're putting their boot down and he's like, you stay here, you stay
Yeah.
at that low level. You're not getting your tests.
You're just
soon.
gonna have to take whatever they give you, and that might be the case. I mean, I didn't keep a personal log of the hours. I could just be wanting it to be more. You know what I mean?
Speaking of personal log, if you have a job that has variable pay, and I don't know if electricians are like that, keep a log of the stuff you do, because if you have variable pay and they have like little printouts to say this is what you did for this amount of time, you would have a log of your own to match it up against and say like, hey, I'm missing a couple $100 on this one. What's going on? What's going on with this?
Yeah, whatever you're saying, dude.
I did catch a couple issues, and I saved myself a couple $100 on that because, you know, people just writing down, they'll press a wrong button or they'll log it wrong, and you'll just get a little bit less or a little bit more. If they're wrong on my benefit, I don't say nothing. I don't say a single thing. I let them pay me more.
Yeah, well, it definitely feels like they should be better at keeping track of hours than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would happen all the time. If you're not clocking in, you don't have a job where you're literally like electronically monitoring your hours.
Right.
Because for most of my electrical jobs, most of my electrical career, I would just keep track of my hours, and I'd have to fill out my own timesheet anyways.
Really?
And I'd have to put like what I was doing, where I was, and
If they didn't like it, they would say, actually, you only worked this many hours.
yeah, they would call. They'd be like, "Hey, why do you have this many hours here?" Yeah, I'd be like, "Because I worked that long there. I was there that long."
Mhm.
You know, haters gonna hate.
Right?
I don't work for free, dude. We had a war about it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a lot of people that want to be like company men. They
Yeah.
feel like they're really gonna get ahead if they like bend over backwards and really care about the company. The company will really care about them.
Company does not care.
Yeah, the
Company
second
for
you're
them.
gone, you're gonna be shocked how quickly they don't even remember who you are.
I'm shocked at how quickly they don't remember my problems. Like, hey, I don't like this person. Don't put me with this person next week. Hey, can you run with this person? Like, I just told you. I know there's 150 of us, but come on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They don't care about your problems. And they're going to continue to do whatever they want to do unless you keep being like, hey, I already told you. You really got to like stand your ground and stand up for yourself because they're not going to just be like, oh, okay.
Not
You
like an
write that
asshole, but
down.
you got to keep reminding them like a little
Yeah,
child.
well, squeaky wheel gets the grease in any job I've
Yeah.
ever been in.
Absolutely.
You know?
Now, I've always been like the bend over backwards person for a long, long time. This job I have now is the first time I started like putting my foot down because I don't know what it is, but I don't like confrontation. But very few times has confronting my boss or a peer affected my pay. Now it depends on it because they are going to try to screw me out of every little dollar they can because, like you said, that's how companies are. Companies are for profit. They're not for employee.
Mhm.
Especially not in Texas. It's a right to work. They don't like you. They're just going to get rid of you. They don't have to have a reason.
They don't.
We don't have
Yeah.
unions over here pretty much because, like, right to work state, you're unionized. Don't care. Get out of here.
Well, there are unions. It depends on your job. You know, the electrical union in the area that we're in is really weak.
Right.
But in other parts of Texas, like Houston has a really strong electrical union. And I know that there are other unions that are here too. There's the CWA, which is a really strong union.
Okay.
Called Workers of America.
So what, Workers of America?
Call cell phone workers of America.
Oh,
Call
okay.
workers of America.
Call, I gotcha.
Yeah, and then there's there's a lot of jobs out of the unions. There's a railroad union that's around here that's really strong too, because Fort Worth has like the stockyards.
Stockyards. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, those aren't working railways, but there are a lot of railways that go through Fort Worth and along 20 and 30. Going,
Well, it just has like a strong history of train stuff, I guess, in Fort Worth. There's a strong union there.
they have a train museum even, right? Don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're all about running trains.
Amen.
But yeah, while I was doing some research, I just had some myths. We've already touched a couple of them. We've already talked about big fuses being better. You're right, they're wrong. If they're not small enough and enough power goes back up, it's going to cause fire and other problems.
Well, that's basically what it is like the fuse should fit the job. If you wanted to detect little problems, get a big ass fuse. It's not going to detect little problems.
Right, absolutely. Okay. And we already talked about switching off electrical sockets. We already talked about fuses and breakers being different. Volts. How do you measure power? Is it in volts? Is it wattage? Is it amperage? How do you really measure power?
You can use any of those and all of those. There's an equation for if you have like the volts and the amps,
You can get the wattage.
yeah, you can get the wattage with those numbers.
Right. And I think
Vice versa.
what I saw is that wattage equals volts times amperage. And so if you want watts, you have volt times amperage. If you want to find volts, it's watts over amperage. If you want to find amperage, it's watts over volts. Does that sound right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, even when you take the journeyman test, they give you a little.
They give you a cheat sheet?
Yeah, they give you a little equation circle that you can just be like, oh, okay, here's how I found it. Here's how I found it.
I mean, I guess on the job, you're going to have something like that.
Yeah. You're not just gonna be like freehanding it.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be like, are you really looking up the equation?
Yeah, I remember when we were kids, you're not going to have a calculator on you at all times,
Yeah, dude. That was stupid.
That was so dumb.
I mean, I guess they didn't know, but still.
You can't know, but
Hindsight's 2020.
But for us, it's 2015.
Mm-hmm. My eyes actually aren't 15.
They're not?
They're 25.
Oh, they are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
My eyes were that messed up, dude.
dang. In case you don't know what we're talking about LASIK eye surgery. He had it. He said it's awesome. I had it. I think it's awesome. You should get it. Unless you're 40 or older, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're also insured for life.
Yeah. Oh, are you okay there?
Damn.
Don't die on me.
I'm sneezing.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about that. So, what are the differences between the volts, wattage, and amperage? Because obviously, amperage is how much draw per second, or what is that? Because like you can have a low voltage and a high voltage, and they really like if you grab hold of it, it's going to do the same thing to you. You can have a 12 volt here and 12 volt here, but one's going to kick your ass and one won't. Theoretically,
It's because it's the amps on that circuit.
the amps. Okay.
Oh, God. If you
What
look
can I
at,
do, my child?
if you look at tasers and whatever else, you can
Yeah.
get like 100,000 volt taser.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like for pretty cheap too. But if you'll hear about electricians getting lit up on jobs and dying all the time.
Right.
It's because it only takes 0.9 amps to stop your heart, but the volts will just cause your muscles to contract.
Okay, and that's why like once you grab it, you're stuck there.
That particularly, from what I've heard, anyways, that's more of a 277 480 problem. 120 won't grab you like that, but yeah, 277 480 will. It'll cause the all the muscles in your body to clamp down, starting with your hand.
Right.
And on
okay.
a lot of like switchgear maintenance or switch outs or whatever, this is an old trick. I haven't seen it recently. They'd actually keep wooden bats there.
Oh, you like beat them off it?
Yeah, to beat them off.
Oh,
Exactly
beat 'em off.
right. Yeah, dude. But they would, because I'd rather have 2 broken arms than be dead.
Right. Yeah, I was reading online. Someone grabbed something and he took his helmet and he just headbutted him off because I guess they didn't have the bats, but
Yeah, well, it's a case by case basis.
whatever gets him off faster, right?
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah, whatever gets them off the fastest, because time is of the essence.
Absolutely.
And AC, well, actually, just like the name suggests, it's an alternating current. So it has a sort of a wavelength that goes like that. You know what I mean? But
Right.
DC is straight line power.
Oh, okay. So
So,
that actually like that's a measurable difference.
mm.
So what does that mean though? Like to
Well, in
us?
terms of grabbing you, DC will not let go. You know what I mean? But AC,
It'll constrict and relax and constrict and
yeah,
relax.
it'll waver. You know what I mean? It will be strongest at certain points and weakest at certain points.
Right.
You know, so you have a potential to get off of that, and maybe it won't kill you as fast too. I would imagine DC would kill you faster, but that's
Right. 'Cause
total
it's constant
speculation.
max power the whole time.
Yeah, that's total speculation though.
Right. Don't try this at home. Don't test it. I won't want to find out from one of you mother lovers writing in, complaining, saying, we told you to do something. It's not for you, Siggy.
Yeah, I mean Siggy shouldn't do it either.
No, not at all. All right. And I guess, do you know the difference between copper wires and aluminum wires? There's a big debate on which one's better. Is it case by case, or is there one that just conducts better?
Well,
one
it
doesn't do better?
depends. Copper's more expensive,
Okay.
but sometimes your cat's biting the table.
You get off that. Nope.
Copper can carry the same amount of power at a smaller size than aluminum.
What does
So basically, the way I believe it works is that copper has a lower resistance to that electricity, so it passes through easier.
produces less heat because of the
Yeah,
resistance?
and so like if you have like a 20 amp circuit, well, a 100 amp circuit, you might need size 6 copper wire, or
And that's
maybe
a gauge, or what is that?
yeah, that's gauge,
Okay.
AWG, or you might need like size 4 aluminum wire. You know what I mean? So you need to go up a size. The wire would need to be bigger to carry
Thicker.
the
Gotcha.
same amount of power.
Because it's sort of like, like airplanes and fuel. If you had more fuel to go farther, you burn more fuel to take off. So like you need thicker to carry more, but that also adds more resistance, right? Or something like that? Or is that not the case?
That's not the
Theoretically.
case. I'm
Okay.
saying that copper and aluminum, to carry the same exact amount of power, copper needs to be a bigger wire. Because
Copper
it
needs
has
to be a bigger wire. Okay.
oh, no.
Aluminum has to be a
Aluminum needs to be a bigger wire. Copper has less resistance.
Copper's okay being small. Aluminum needs more girth.
Yeah, to
Gotcha.
carry the same amount of power.
Okay.
And the reason you would get aluminum instead of copper, you normally see that in like coming off the switch gear or something like that, going like really far out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
because aluminum is cheaper than copper, obviously.
Right. By pound or by whatever unit they use,
hmm
volumetrics or mass symmetrics, whatever. Okay. So you've already given me simple rules of safety. When would we call an electrician versus what can we as laymen do?
In terms of electricity, dude, if you have the money and you don't know what you're doing, at least look up a YouTube video or something. At the very bare minimum, always test before you touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what the Megger?
No, you wouldn't use a megger. A megger would test the integrity of a wire. A megger puts power through the
Oh, you
wire.
want a voltometer then?
Yeah, just a multimeter.
Multimeter, that's what I mean.
Or you could get a hot stick, is what they're called. It literally just looks like a pen. Although they've been known to be unreliable. A lot of people call them widow makers, because they'll say something's dead, you touch it, it's not dead. To be on the safe side, a multimeter, they can be kind of expensive. If you absolutely have to, I'd still get at least a hot stick.
Right. But like we're not going to be touching like super high things if we're touching our residential outlets and stuff like that. Because like I've definitely, as I pulled something out, my finger touched the outlet, and
Yeah.
obviously that didn't do
I think
permanent
as a
damage.
rule of thumb for a complete amateur with electricity, if it's coming off the panel, like an outlet or a light or something, and make sure it's dead, and then probably take a swing at it yourself. But if it has to do with the panel itself, I would call a professional at that point.
Okay.
Because then you're really playing with it, dude. Because even if you kill everything in the panel, the line side wires coming from the power line are still hot.
Okay.
And you might have a disconnect at your house or not. But if you don't, there's no way for you to turn those off. The city has to turn it off.
Okay. So to simplify it, if it comes from the outlets or comes from the ceiling, you can turn the tap power off, try it. If you're dealing with the wires inside the walls or dealing with the panel itself, call an electrician, unless you really know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's what it comes down to.
Okay.
It's a total competency check on you personally. It's a case by case basis. Some people are just going to get it better than others.
Okay.
You know,
That
some
makes
people will
sense.
probably burn their house down just trying to switch out an outlet. Like, there's no telling. You don't know till you know. You know?
No, the scary part is like even if you turn it off and like you're safe and you put it in like you mix the positive and the negative and you turn it back on, suddenly fire there even though you yourself are safe. Is that something that can happen, or is that just in my mind scary oogie boogie, not real?
Well, if it's like a motor or something, I've seen people blow up motors because they wired them backwards.
Okay.
And when you wire it backwards, it causes the motor to try to run backwards. So it's supposed to spin this way, but it starts spinning this way, and it's not built for that.
Okay.
Or I've also seen people wire up 120 208 motors with 277 480 power, which just
Oh, it
causes
makes
them
it
to explode.
okay. I can't handle that.
No, it's
Okay.
not built for that.
So I can't plug my toaster into the socket that does my dryer.
No. That's why the plugs are designed differently. You
Okay.
would have to really go out of your way to wire a 120 plug to your washer wires, which would have like 2 or 3 hots. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, it's like I think they went from a 4-prong to a 3-prong, I think, or is it 3-prong to 4-prong, whatever was more the newer one.
In my experience, I think the washer was a 4-prong, and now it's a 3-prong.
Okay. Here's a big one. Here's what people really want to know. Call an electrician. They tell you something's wrong. How do we know what they're telling us is truth? Are there common lies, common fibs to get more money out of us, or is that just like case by case? There are honest people and there are dishonest people, and they'll lie about different things.
It's just like a car mechanic. They can just totally hit you with the terminology and yap, 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 and you don't know any better because they've been doing this 8, 10 years. You have not. You know what I mean? I would just treat it like anything else. You know, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. If they're all telling you the exact same thing and they're not in communication with each other, then it's probably the truth. But if you're getting 3 different stories from 3 different electricians, something's wrong. You know what I mean? Somebody's lying
Okay.
in that case.
So what is it? It's like the thing if one person tells you you're stinky, ignore them. If 2 people tell you you're stinky, you start to wonder. If 3 people tell you you're smelly, you better take a shower. Is that what it is? Something like that?
I would just take a shower. At that point, dude, I don't feel like it's a big pain in the ass to just take a shower just to be sure.
No, you're right. You're right.
Um,
I was just like comparing it to like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
But a lot of electrical work can easily get into thousands and thousands of dollars.
I thought I was going to say most electricians smell bad at the end of the day, but that also true.
No, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's not what I was gonna say. But that was for sure.
Okay, yeah, electricity can be expensive, specifically because y'all handle such a hazardous job that, us scaredy people, like if I'm not going to touch electricity if I don't have to. I'll mess with plugs, I'll change out a fan, anything past that, I'm calling you or someone like you. So there's no shame on asking for help as long as you can afford it. If you've got friends that know how to do it, call on them first and don't take advantage of them. Treat them well, feed them or do something at least.
Well, yeah. Don't just try to get the pro bono work, but I would definitely, just because I'm an electrician, I don't think you should trust me to just like willy nilly do whatever I want with your house. Because if I fuck it up, I'm a dick, dude. And you're holding the bag.
Right. So if you do get an electrician, make sure they're bonded and insured and bonded. Is that what it is?
That could be it. Yeah. It's just kind of case by case basis again. Technically, I've never done any side work, but if you do side work and you're not a master, you can get your license revoked from the state of Texas. Because
And
only
that-
masters can bond out and get their own personal insurance
Okay.
for electrical work.
And that'll basically ban you from ever becoming a master?
It'll ban you from ever being anything. You can't be an electrician at all. They won't even issue you another apprentice license.
Oh,
They'll revoke it, and you got to move states if you want to be an electrician again.
Okay.
or under the table. You wouldn't be licensed basically.
Okay. Well, obviously, I don't want you to like incriminate other people, but like we're getting close to the end here. I want to know exciting things that happened at work. What's exciting? What happened badly? What happened good? Have you just witnessed things that like you walked into? Like, why was it wired this way? What the heck happened? Like, just stuff that make us go,
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. I've opened a lot of panels, and when I opened it, it was like booby trapped. Basically, the main thing you want to do is when you go into something that's hot, especially because as a technician, we needed to hit the electrical equipment directly with a thermal camera, which means taking covers off of hot equipment all the time. And there's been times where we open it and there's a screw sitting on the divider between the B phase and C phase lugs.
and
So
that can
if it went either way, it would immediately spark and shoot up. Or if it connected the phases, that's a explosion. You know what I mean? Some really close shaves, dude. But
okay. You haven't had to beat anyone with sticks. Everyone you've worked with have been safe from that.
no, dude. Yeah, I never had to hit anyone with a stick,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
I really
I know you're like, I really hope you grab a live wire so I
Yeah.
can beat the crap out of you.
I hope it happens. I did hear about one guy that he was standing on a 6-foot ladder, and I don't even know what he was working on or anything like that, but he got lit up,
Mm-hmm.
and the apprentice in the room started looking for the bat and freaking out, but another worker ran in and just kicked the ladder out from under him.
So
And
what
it
I
caused
want to
him
know
fall.
is, since he was stuck on the wire, since he's contracting the muscles, how many pull-ups did he do before he got knocked off?
Probably just like a really, really hurtful single one. Yeah, dude. There was no coming back down.
There's no coming back down.
Yeah.
Especially not on DC, right?
Yeah, well, I was almost exclusively AC electrician.
Okay.
The only times you see DC is if the building you're working in has a battery backup
Battery backup. Okay.
in case the power fails. And most buildings are going to have a generator instead of a battery plant because
Okay.
battery plant requires a lot more maintenance than a generator.
Ooh, actually, I need some help with you then, and I'm gonna keep this in. This house is equipped with solar, has a battery backup, and a two-way feed into the meter. What kind of maintenance do I need to do?
Just the regular maintenance. You know what I mean?
I know zero things about this. Like I've never I'm 30, about to be 32. I've never heard anything about maintenance on the boxes.
Well, with batteries specifically, you would just want to make sure that there's no corrosion, no leaks, you don't see signs of like acid eating through anything like that. You definitely would want to hit your batteries with a multimeter also and make sure that they're still putting out 13 volts or whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Okay.
And make sure there's charge on them because otherwise you're not going to know there's no charge till you need them and then nothing happens.
I've got an app that actually tracks that, so I'm safe on that at least. Okay.
Yeah. I would assume that, I mean, whoever installed it would know more than me, and I would hope that they told you something about maintenance.
They didn't tell me nothing about it. They said, "Oh, you paid for this? All right, we'll install it in like 2 hours."
Well, the battery plants of these big buildings,
They're different than this, right?
yeah, I mean, they'll have rows and rows of batteries as big as this room, like from that end of the wall to that one, and it'll be a row on the bottom and a row on the top. And then it'll be another one, and all those batteries will give that building like 6 hours of power. You know what I mean?
That's it?
Yeah. It's just enough time to fix whatever's wrong with the generator or fix whatever's wrong with the utility power.
Okay. All right.
It's a redundancy system. So if utility fails, the generator will pick it up. If the generator fails, then the batteries pick it up. And you better pray.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're on batteries not by choice, you're in trouble because both other lines failed.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Any last big things you want to say? Something that really you got to make sure we know about before we go on to the last segment?
I already said it, but I'll say it again, dude. Test before you touch because you will wish you did. At the absolute worst case scenario, if you're not sure or even if you tested it and you're like, well, blah blah blah. Hopefully you locked it out if you're going to be away from whatever turns it on. But at the absolute worst, if you don't know if it's hot, touch it with the back of your hand, because
Oh, because you won't grab it.
that'll cause your muscles to retract this way. You're just getting a little taste.
Okay.
But even that's really stupid.
All right.
If your back's against the wall, that's the least stupid of stupid options.
You said something important in there. Tagged out, locked out. What is that?
A lotto, lockout, tag out. That's more of a construction thing, or a commercial building thing. Most non-electrician people really don't need one. But what it is it will lock the breaker into the open position because you're going to be working on that circuit. That prevents people from coming in and, why is this breaker off? And closing it while you could potentially be right there directly touching it.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories of stuff like that happening. I didn't know that's actually what, like, on the electrical side, that's what it is. One of my jobs, lockout, tackout, was like, there's a device that wasn't working right. They would unplug it and they would put a box around it that would cover the prongs and keep you from plugging it in. So that's the part I knew. I didn't know there was one you can put on, like, the actual breakers.
Oh yeah, there's all shapes and sizes because there's so many different types of breakers too.
Okay.
That basically does the same thing. It locks the plug so that you could not plug it back in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's making sure that
you can work on it
the
without
line
dying.
stays open.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to power this up while I'm working on it.
Right.
But I mean, I'll just take the plug with me, but I don't know how far away it is, obviously. Right. So
one last question I have, because you said there are all sorts of different shapes and sizes of breakers. I deliver to places, and sometimes, I can't turn on the lights for whatever, and I can't find the breaker box. I didn't realize. Are you familiar with the breaker boxes that are just like, there's a box and there's a single button on it? Because there's like one of the places I deliver to, there's 4 boxes and a button on each, and I have to press one of the buttons to light up the place to start delivery. Are you familiar with something like that, or are you only the switch person?
That's probably not a panel. That's more likely a sort of like a I don't know what you would call it, like a control wiring box.
Okay.
Or like a MCC little thing, just a motor control cabinet.
Okay.
That's more for like the one I'm thinking of anyways is more for like if there's control wiring involved and specific things need to turn on specific days.
Okay.
Instead of just, it's got power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for more intricate systems, you have stuff like that, but it's probably not a breaker box.
Okay. All right. So you said your piece. I've learned a lot. Hopefully y'all learn a lot. I want to do something kind of interesting, a little philosophical. I pulled up the trolley game. Are you familiar with the trolley problem?
Yeah.
So this is the trolley problem. It's going to start with the very basic trolley problem, like 1 person, 5 people, and it's going to get progressively more unhinged. So I'll give you 5 seconds to decide each one, and once we've decided, you can explain your reasoning afterwards. But the super basic one, do you kill the 1 person instead, or do you leave
yeah,
the 5?
I pulled the lever.
Pull the lever? Okay. All right. Most people agree with you. I don't really need, any sort of thing unless you want to say something.
I mean, the main reason people don't pull the lever is because they're like, oh, but then I've intervened and I'm the one that just killed that person. You're also the one that just saved 5 other people.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. People are so dumb sometimes. Okay. Yeah. I agree with that entirely. All right. 5 seconds. Oh, no. Heading towards 5 people, you can divert it, or you can kill 4 people instead.
4.
Same logic, right?
Yeah, well, if it's 4 strangers to 5 strangers and they're all the same age, I don't really have time to react. You know
right.
What I mean? 1 life saved still is a net positive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Knowing nothing else about them.
Yeah,
right.
Knowing nothing else, that's all you got.
All right. Next up is 5 people, or you can kill all your life savings.
Yeah, I'll kill my life savings.
All right. Why did you decide to become broke AF to save 5 random people?
You make money every day. You know what I mean? I feel like there's damn, dude, 42% killed 5 random people. Yeah. I feel like it's really easy to forget just how much value there is in human life. You know what I mean? We're talking
Mhm.
about 5 people that are sons, brothers, fathers, mothers, sisters, daughters.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus my money. You know, you make money every day. If I was like really strapped and
It might even
back
be better
against the
for you.
wall,
It might get rid of your debt.
yeah, I might get rid of my debt.
But no, I agree with your thoughts. Like, even if you lose all your life savings, you start from zero, you can keep going up from there. It's not like you'll never have savings. It's just your current savings.
You can get the money back, basically. You can't get the people back. That's the gist of it.
That's the gist of it. All right. I agree with that. Next. You can kill yourself or 5 people.
I'll probably pull the lever.
Pull a lever.
Yeah.
Do a little self-sacrifice. Because
Yeah.
like, same kind of logic. It's 1 person instead of 5 people, even if it's yourself.
Yeah, well, it's easy to say that on a funny little haha game. You know?
Yeah.
If I was really in that bind, I'd probably think about it longer.
Right.
But it's still just a net positive. You know, do I really consider myself more valuable than 5 other people? You know what I mean?
Right. Now, there are some situations where I think 1 person might be more important. Like if one is like, uh, it's hard to say this. I know we were hating on businesses a second ago, but if someone's in charge of a business and they run it properly and they're making sure that their people are taken care of and they're employing people and they're being a net positive to the community for like hundreds of people or even thousands of people, I think that 1 person should survive and continuously benefit more people than the 5.
Oh,
But
the
those are
tricky-
few and far between.
Yeah,
right?
the tricky part here is you don't know that all 5 of those other people aren't also business owners.
You
You
don't
don't know
know.
anything about them. It's a huge gamble.
Right.
you know?
Absolutely.
Obviously, if you knew more here, like the 1 person's a doctor and the 5 people are like, I don't even know.
All right. Let's do this.
Criminals.
1 person is going to cure cancer and the other 5 are homeless people. What do you do?
Yeah, dude, the cancer cure guy.
All right. What about this then? There's 1 cancer cure people and 4 homeless people versus one average middle class person.
Well, then that just comes back down to the net positive. You know what I
Net
mean?
positive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Still think
and you
saving the
still,
1,
yeah, I'd have to save the 5.
save the 5.
Yeah.
Still think okay. I can get that. I can get behind that. You're not a criminal in my mind yet.
Yeah.
You can just kill 5 people or destroy priceless art.
The original copy of the Mona Lisa, yeah, I would just pulling the lever kills the art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd pull the lever.
Yeah. Art's it's a big way of people moving money and like just like
Money.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's everyone wins here.
Well, I feel like at this point, you know what I mean? People know what the Mona Lisa looks like, dude.
Yeah, I don't even
Like history might not remember those 5 people, but they're gonna fucking remember you.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's just a picture.
Yeah.
You know?
So-
Because I'm not very artistic. I'm sure there's people.
I'm pretty autistic myself.
Autistic.
All right. You can kill 1 person, or you can pull the lever to gain $500,000, or you can let nothing happen and still just 1 person dies.
So 1-to-1, the only difference is that you would be a murderer if you pulled it. So I'm probably not going to pull it.
Not going to pull it.
Yeah.
Are you still a murderer? Because you still, no matter what, 1 person's going to die. The only difference is you don't get money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you weren't here, if you were completely gone from the situation, that dude still would have died. But if I'm pulling it, I'm killing that other guy for $500,000, which might just be the idealistic in me that doesn't want to pull that.
You don't want to be there, basically. You wanna,
Yeah.
okay.
If it's a 1-to-1, you know what I mean? 1 person's dying no matter what, but I'm killing one of them. If I switch it, I would just let it ride,
Okay.
basically.
Gotcha. And, it's a pretty even split, so I can understand that. I would take the money. That's life-changing money. Pay off the house, pay off the cars. I can create a small business, start employing people. You know what I mean? But, again, it's all a matter of ideology. What can we go to bed sleeping to?
That's basically what it comes down to.
Right.
Like, I want to be able to sleep. Basically, I want peace of mind. I
Yeah.
would pay $500,000 to keep my peace of mind.
Oh, I don't have 500,000 to give you, but I understand. All right. You can kill 5 lobsters or a cat.
I'm killing the lobsters.
Yeah.
No offense to the lobsters, dude, but at this point, it's just kind of I don't really even have anything to justify that decision. I just kind of I personally value a cat over 5 lobsters.
Right, and it's what it is. It's
Lobsters mean nothing to me.
because we've got a bunch of cats here. We're all about cats compared to lobsters. Lobsters, I eat them. I don't keep them as pets.
The only time I see them is when I eat them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not no emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Okay. All right. You can kill 5 people that are sleeping and won't feel pain, or you can kill 1 person that is aware.
Yeah, dude, I'm still gonna kill the aware guy.
Okay. That's where I differed because, these people don't know. They don't know what they're missing. The one person sees the horror. But, in the end of the day, those 5 people will wake up.
Mhm. Yeah,
Right.
exactly so, dude. I mean, if it turned out they were like 5 coma patients, I'd be pissed. But aside from that, I feel like this is just the same thing as the first question.
Right.
You know, them being asleep really makes no difference at the end result.
Okay.
It sucks for that one guy, but I gotta do what I gotta do.
You got to do what you got to do. Right. Okay. You can kill 1 person who was forced on the track or 5 people that went there willingly.
Oh, I'm gonna kill the 5 that went there willingly. Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, I'm not like gonna go out of my way to kill an innocent man if 5 people have like I'm cool with dying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
the
your
intent
personal,
matters, huh?
Yeah, it's your personal decision if you want to go to that extent.
Right. Okay. I'm with you on that. And so are 76 other % of people. You need to stop stepping on my foot. You're very cute, but stop. All right. All right. You can kill one. Oh. Trolley's heading towards 5 people. The lever just speeds up the trolley, making it less painful. What do you do?
Speeds it up, making it less painful. That's all I can do. Then I'll pull the lever. Yeah.
All right.
It hauled ass, dude. I mean, the option here is like, do you want to just not have any involvement, or do you want to grant these dudes like a little mercy?
Do you try to
It's
be
like
helpful?
I'll put myself on the line to try to grant them what I can only imagine is at least a little mercy in
Right.
a whack ass situation.
Okay. No, I'm with you 100%. And I'm surprised 28 won't.
Yeah, well there you go with the peace of mind again. They're like, well,
Right. The trolley is heading towards one guy. You can pull the lever to divert it to other track, but then your Amazon package will be late. What do you do?
my Amazon package will
Yes.
be late.
Yes. This is huge.
A troll. Somebody heading towards one guy, you can pull the lever to divert it. Sorry, bro. I'm gonna have to let him die, dude.
No, but your Amazon package. How can you do that? No.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no. Oh no, man. I don't.
Whoa, most people disagree with you.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, no, it's not. Most people are like, I'm gonna pull it and let my Amazon package get diverted. You know what I mean? Or get delayed, and I'm gonna save his life.
Oh, you killed the person.
Yeah, I killed him.
I
Yeah.
thought you did the opposite.
No, I
Oh,
no! I don't even have anything ordered on Amazon.
That's great. Oh, it made me laugh so hard. Everything's blurry. Hold on. All right, we're better. A trolley is heading towards your best friend, or you can kill 5 strangers.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to let him die, dude. Yeah, sorry, bro.
No, it's okay. I did that too.
Yeah,
I would do that too because
it's a tough.
I can make
thing,
another
dude.
friend.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cold-blooded, but we made the same decision, so.
Oh crap! A lot of people disagree. That's crazy.
Well, it comes down to personal gain. You got to be pretty selfless to kill your best friend in the world to save 5 complete strangers.
I don't need 5 strangers. I will kill my best friend in the world. Good thing. Good thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. Good thing you're not them. But
Thank God. Thank God.
the trolley hits first 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 person instead. At least that's what you think was happening. You forgot your glasses. You can't see that well. What do you do?
At this point, I would not get involved because I don't know what's going on. You could potentially make it worse.
Okay.
If you really, this is like a personal case by case basis,
Right.
because
Like here, it kind of
You
looks
gotta
like there's a
go-
person, but you don't know for sure.
Yeah, you got to go with your instincts. If you really truly believe that that's what's happening, go for it. But if you're uncertain, like this question is saying, like you don't really know what the fuck's going on,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just like throw some random lever thinking, oh, I gotta intervene, because you could potentially make it a lot worse. You don't know that this is.
It's sort of like that Navy ship that recently blew one of our own airplanes out of the sky thinking it was a rocket. They weren't sure, so they shot it. Thank goodness our pilots are fine, but it could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
And that's kind of split too.
Real.
Yeah. Trolley, head towards one of your first cousins or three of your second cousins. What do you do?
I don't know any of my family, so I'll kill the first cousin.
Gotcha. I'm kind of with you on there. Extended family. Don't know them that well. I'm sure they're great people, but at this point, it's a numbers game for me.
Yeah, what I know about my cousins, I have one cousin that's really cool.
Is your second or third?
First. He's a first cousin.
Okay.
But aside from that, a lot of my family are like textbook hillbillies from Virginia, bro.
Oh,
West Virginia, like missing teeth, beer gut. They literally, when I met them, the only time I met them, they were wearing overalls, one strap down, no shirt. You know what I mean?
like all of them?
Yeah. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
they all got in uniform, dude. They were talking about how they love moonshine and they're hanging out there. I was like, okay.
I can't let this go. Why do they have one down? Is it like a fashion statement, or is it because they're just too big
Oh,
for
it was busted, dude. It was just broken, I guess, or it was like a probably a big laziness. They're like, one will do, one will get the job done, and it does hold them up.
It does hold them up.
You know, fair enough.
All right, okay.
It does hold up the overalls.
Trolley, head towards 5 elderly people or 1 infant.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill the elderly people.
All right.
And I would hope that the elderly people would want that, knowing that an infant is on the line.
Yeah, the drivers we dealt with today and the other day,
Yeah.
don't trust that that's what they think, but I hope that's what they think. Because let's be honest, old people, I want them all out. I don't care if they're my family. I don't care if they're strangers. Old people, they're not productive anymore. They're assholes. They think they own the world. And I think if they were nicer to us, I would think better of them, but they don't. Young people, they have a huge future of possibility. They could do anything. Old people, they've done what they're going to do.
That sounded pretty biased, to be honest.
I'm ageist, a little bit.
Ageist.
A little bit.
I feel like, there's cool old people alive today.
Right.
But in this case, yeah, I mean, we got 5 people that lived complete, hopefully fulfilling lives. If not, that's not up to me. And you've got one person here, like at the very start of their story, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
yeah. And
easy money.
To qualify what I said before, old people, they're cool. I just hope they're all retired and are living their best life and not working, because I need people that are physically and mentally capable of providing us services to be working. I need those old people, old retired people. I want you all to enjoy retirement for however long you have left. That's what I want.
Nice recovery. I'd say that if I was you too, man.
Oh. You can kill yourself or 5 clones of you.
Oh, this is kind of weird. I'd probably kill the clones at this point.
Right.
Because what is the difference?
Well, to bounce off this, we can go on the ship of Theseus. Do you know what the ship of Theseus is?
No.
So the ship of Theseus is an old thought that if you had a boat and over however many years you start replacing piece by piece by piece by piece because things get damaged, you replace those parts. At one point, every single part will be new. Is it still the same boat?
Yes.
It is the same boat. All right. Let's change it up a little bit. You have a sentient machine, and you replace the parts, still same software. It's the same machine after all this year, right? What if it has a software update? Is it still the same machine, same sentient machine?
Well, an update doesn't completely rewrite the files. It just amends some and adds, right?
Right.
So, yes.
So it is the same. So it's sort of like as we grow older, we gain more knowledge and we're still the same people, but we gain different run times and whatnot.
Yeah.
To put in the same spec.
Basically.
Okay. And I had one more thing. I'm a little toasted. Let's see if I can remember this thing. Fudge. I'll remember it later. All right. Trolley heading towards 50% chance of 2 people or 10% chance of 10 people.
Now that is interesting. 50% chance of 2.
If you're not sure,
You
want me to
can't bet what you're not willing to lose. So I'm gonna go for the 50% chance of 2 people.
That is actually a strong, nice, easy way of saying what I was thinking. Because I was taking it like, if 10% chance, so let's just say you do it 10 times, one of those times 10 people are going to die. 50%, do it 10 times, 10 people will still die. So if it's all about luck, how much you're willing to lose? Are you willing to say, hey, I killed 10 people, or hey, I killed 2 people?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Just like when I'm hitting the casino with the fellas, I'm not about to put my life savings on the line. You know what I mean? I don't.
Hold on now.
What I'm.
Hear me out.
Not willing to lose.
Hear me out. Do you have $10,000 that you can, like, in your life savings?
Oh yeah.
So you know the infinite money hack, right?
What?
So I was listening to this podcast. What was it called? How Did We Get Here? And they were talking about the infinite money glitch of roulette. You have a 50% chance of winning. So if you bet $500, or let's say you bet $250 on roulette, and you win, take those $250, leave. Come back the next day, do the same thing. If you fail, you put down $500. You fail again, put down $1,000. Fail again, put down $2,000. Fail again, put down $4,000. If you win on any of those, you get all your money back plus $250. You leave. Come back, another $250. Do it day and day and day. If you make $250 every single day, let's just say 300 days, because you're gonna want some days off to have whatever. 300 days times 250 is what? That's 750 with 2 zeros. That's 750. Is that $750,000 or $75,000?
$75,000.
So if you win $250 every day, spend 15 minutes in the casino, you can make $75,000 if you're willing to risk your life savings.
If you're willing to risk your life savings.
Money hack. Don't do this. I'm not telling you to do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sounds pretty cool, Hardy, man.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm definitely not your lawyer. So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not personally gonna do that, but the logic is there, I guess.
Yeah, because I think if you, you know how doubling things gets out of hand really easy.
It's also not completely impossible,
right,
that you will go the full distance and lose $10,000.
Right.
It's improbable, but it's not impossible.
It's like a little under 1% chance, or maybe it's like a 1% chance, and that's too.
That's 1% chance is 1 in 100, and you just said you do it 300 days. You're given statistically, you would lose it all 3 times in 300 days.
You're right. Don't do it. All right. You can kill your 5 sentient robots or kill 1 human.
Like complete sentience?
That's what it says.
I'd probably kill the human then.
Okay. And my thought on that is I lived in the fantasy where they had backups, and their hardware would die, but their software could be reinstalled. That's the fantasy I lived in, but that's not the context they're given.
I'm assuming in this context, like, they get hit by the train, they're completely destroyed. Even if that doesn't make logical sense, that's
how they presented it. Yeah. Okay.
Which complete sentience is the mark of
humanity, basically, right?
Yeah, of humanity, basically. That's what separates us from the animals.
Right. The only difference is they're going to live forever.
So, yeah. Like, we're talking about 1 sentient being or 5 sentient beings here, basically. So, I would go to the 1. Unfortunately, it's human versus robot. I'm sure a lot of people would be like, fuck the robots.
Yeah, 85% did.
But if you break it down to sentient versus sentient, which is, in my mind,
it's a 1-to-1 now.
Yeah, it's the way to weigh it.
Yeah.
I would think.
Okay. All right. Go on. Button press. You can trolley picture 3 empty trolleys worth $900,000. You can pull the lever to divert to the other track, hitting 1 empty trolley worth $300,000 instead. What do you do?
I'm not gonna touch shit. If you touch that lever, they're looking for that 300,000 from you.
Oh, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
You're fucking right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You just intervened and caused $300,000 worth of damage. Is what they're gonna look at. They're not caring that you just saved them $600,000 worth of damage.
You're fucking right,
You just
man.
became the scapegoat. Yeah, I'm not touching that shit.
I fell into that trap. You're so smart.
You deal with a lot of damage on a job site. You're like, okay, I'm not involved.
OSHA comes, time to go home.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm clocking out. I'm calling in sick. I was never there. You know.
Trolley's releasing 100 kilograms of CO2 per year, which will kill 5 years, people over 30 years. You can pull the levers to divert it to the other track, hitting a brick wall and decommissioning the trolley. What do you do?
So what's the point in not pulling it?
Well, the idea is that the carbon emissions that it's releasing will kill 5 people over 30 years. So it's a difference of you kill 0 people or kill 5 people over time, or do you discount the idea that the trolley is providing a service and will help more than 5 people?
Oh, see that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I thought, and I didn't kill it, but like, this is your question.
5 people over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Or take it out of service. I guess I would just let it run, dude.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people disagree, but they're
Well, at the
losers.
surface level, it's the way I interpreted it to begin with was, would you rather kill 5 people or not? Yeah.
And if that's how they think, that's how.
Yeah, if that's how you look at it, yeah, you would just kill it. You'd be like, I'll save 5 people. Yeah.
Right. You're a reincarnated being who will eventually be reincarnated as every person on this classic trolley problem. What do you do?
If all 6 of them are me, then it just breaks down to 1 versus 5 again. I'd kill the 1.
There you go. It's a 50-50 vote anyway. And trolley is heading towards nothing, but you kind of want to prank the trolley driver. What do you do?
Yeah, I'll prank him, dude. Yeah, I mean, just for the love of the game, you know.
The trolley is heading towards good citizen. You can pull the lever to go towards someone who litters instead. What do you do?
Well, for littering only, I'm not about to kill that guy, but if it was like, I'm assuming they're being like playful here with it, like littering, but if he was like, I don't know, like a serial arsonist or something, I'll kill him so fast, dude.
So what do you want to do here?
Well, if it's literally just littering, then I'm not gonna do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did kill him because, 10% improvement is 10% improvement,
Well, I'll tell you this, dude. I sincerely doubt there's a person walking this earth that's never littered in their life.
Well,
There's only people that have been caught for it and not caught for it.
I'm going to put this in a slight perspective, and this is going to make so many people hate so many people. As a truck driver, I drive with partners, so many different people. So, sorry, the cat is messing with my thing. So, as I'm driving, sometimes the partner will like eat their food, roll the window down, throw their shit out the window. I'm like, dude, we can throw it at trash at the next stop. We don't have to throw it out the window. But there are people who don't give a crap and will just litter every chance they get. So I want to kill all the litterers. Fuck those litterers.
Yeah, but
that's just how I feel.
over someone who litters. Yeah, so it just says they litter. You
Right.
know what I mean? They're not like a serial litterer. They're not like illegally dumping. even.
Right. So you're going to recuse yourself basically
Yeah.
from it, yeah?
Well, I mean, I've littered in my life. I'm assuming you've littered in your life. I'm not littering like that.
The
like you're
only litter
describing.
I've done is I'm throwing like apple cores out, and that's biodegradable. So I don't count that.
You've never thrown a piece of trash ever in your life?
Never.
Not even as a kid? You don't think?
Never willingly. Like I've rolled down the window and something goes, I'm like, oh shit. But I don't actively throw anything at windows.
Yeah, well, I don't either. But that still counts as littering.
That doesn't count littering in my mind.
Yes, that counts
Because
as littering.
it's not
you
intentional.
rolled down the window.
It's not intentional. I did create the situation, but I did not want it to be littered.
Yeah. Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Attention does not defer the crime. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. A lot of well-intending people do a lot of evil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to name names because I'm sure I'll get canceled over it, but
Yeah,
All
pretty
right.
much.
Due to construction error, this trolley is stuck in a internal loop. If you pull the lever, the trolley will expose. If you don't, the trolley and its passengers will go in circles for eternity. What do you do?
Wow. That's an interesting one. So they'll be stuck in circles for eternity. It's really just about if you think if they just should exist for eternity or not, I guess.
Well, they won't exist for eternity. They'll suffer until they starve to death or dehydrate.
Well, they use the word eternity here. It's
Well, I
not
mean-
like they'll just stay there till they pass of natural causes.
No, it's going to keep
starvation or
going,
whatever.
but like they will die from natural causes.
If you don't, the trolley and its passengers will go in circles for eternity.
Right. I mean, they don't have to be
read that
living.
like the passengers are alive for eternity.
Right.
Yeah, well, if they're just gonna starve to death anyways, then yeah, I'd pull it.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Trolley is headed towards your worst enemy. You can pull the lever to divert the trolley and save them, or you can do nothing and no one will ever know. What do you do?
I don't know, dude. The moral choice would definitely be to pull the lever, and
Well, what are you gonna do?
I'm probably gonna pull the lever too.
Okay. That's what I did.
Just for peace of mind, if nothing else, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if I completely hate you, I'm not gonna just.
You're not gonna
stand
kill
by.
them.
I'm not gonna stand by and let you die, dude.
Right.
You know, like in that case, kill you, whatever.
And I think that there's a little perspective here because, like, I'm with you in the same mind. I don't hate anyone enough to kill them, but if someone absolutely screwed you for like a good percentage of your life, and that's all you know of them, and they've only ever screwed you, and you're suffering because of them for a long period of time, I'll forgive you if you want to kill them. But me and you, our life situations, I agree. I don't think
That's basically what it comes down to. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you could not piss me off to the point that I want to kill you. You know what I mean? I just don't have an enemy like that. The person in this case,
does not exist for you.
yeah, like if I was in this scenario, the person that would get put on the tracks was probably somebody that like minorly inconvenienced me.
Yeah, that's me.
You know? Yeah, they don't deserve to die for that.
A trolley will heading towards a person will lower the lifespan by 50 years or divert it to 5 people who will divert their who will reduce their life by 10 years each.
Yeah, I'll go for the 5 by 10 years each.
Okay. I mean, it is just a math thing.
We're talking about one guy not making it to 50 versus 5 people not making it to like 80, you know?
Right. Or 70 or wherever you are that you live.
Yeah. Whatever average life expectancy is.
Right.
I assume it's like 90 or 80 here.
Right. Good old USA.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will tell us we're wrong, and we probably are.
Well, without looking it up at all, probably.
A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, sending the trolley into the future to kill 5 people 100 years from now. What do you do? This is something very telling of you. I'll tell you why in a second.
Yeah, you could probably argue that 100 years from now, the population of the planet would be so much higher that the average life worth would be lower. But we're still at a 1-to-1 ratio here in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, and if you pull the lever, you're killing those 5 people.
You're killing the 5 people if you don't.
Yeah.
5 people will die.
Yeah, 5 people will die, but your intervention will result in 5 deaths versus just letting them die.
So what do you got?
I was leaning towards letting the 5 people die, but I think I'll just send it into the future, honestly.
All right. And here you are a master procrastinator. So here's what I think about it. It is the idea of, and this can be applied to anything, global warming or climate change. We can do something now, or we can wait 100 years and suffer the consequences and still do something and get less out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing's going to happen. It's just how much are you willing to suffer now for the future? And it's not the same, but that's how I thought of it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But also, 100 years from now, you won't be alive. You won't know those people. They won't be alive when you're alive.
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially not know these people either.
Right.
The main decider for me here was well, at first I was actually just gonna let the 5 people die,
Yeah.
but then you were like, well, 5 people are gonna die no matter what. And I was like,
No,
right.
I changed
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I'll just send it to the future.
And hope there's a different chance later, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I'm assuming within the context of this question, it's a guarantee.
It's a
that it'll
guaranteed.
kill 5 people regardless.
Okay. It teleports, it drops, and lands on a house with 5 people.
Yeah. I mean, damn, but
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Trolley Problem is playing out before you. Do you actually have a choice in this situation, or has everything been predetermined since the universe began? Do we have a choice, or do we not have a choice in our life?
I think, therefore, I am. Even if my destiny is predetermined, I'm still going to do whatever I feel I have to, regardless of that. You know what I mean?
Okay. But
you don't want to get lost in the weeds
But
of like, well, if I was over here, is this what I meant to do?
Well, here's the
I
thing,
think,
though.
therefore, I am.
Do you actually think?
Maybe.
Because like there have been some studies where people are shown images and stuff, and their MRI and their brain scan at the same time, and they have to decide what they're due or what their response is, but the brain goes and shows the response, and then 10 seconds later they say the response. So do you actually have a choice?
Even if that is the case, it's not going to be my destiny to be paralyzed by the grand scheme of my life. You know what I mean? Either it's my destiny to not get weighed down by that, or I'm making the conscious decision not to be weighed down by that.
Okay. And
Either way, I would say I have a choice.
You do have a choice. We'll click that, and then I'll roll it back one more time. So I'm gonna destroy what I just said, because those experiments were on really basic ideas. When the query or the problem was more complicated or more impactful to the individual, that same reaction didn't happen. So if it doesn't matter to you, you will make an instinctual decision, and that'll be the end of it. But if it does matter to you, you will think about it more.
People definitely have muscle memory and impulses and stuff like that. Like a very simple decision, like, oh, I feel that I need to go to the restroom. Should I go to the restroom? Yes. It's not like a huge debate, like, oh, the restroom. Do I really want to not sit here and piss myself?
Do I want to use the public restroom or try to make it to home?
Yeah, it's not about which restroom. That is a decision, but like just instinctual stuff like that. I'm hungry. There's food in the kitchen. I'm gonna eat. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Just simple stuff that you don't have to think about it because you do it so often instinctually.
Right. Yeah. And then we'll expand it one more time. So with do you believe that if we knew where every single particle in the universe was and which direction it was at a single time, could we theoretically plot out every direction everything would go forever?
That is an incredible amount of data just to begin with. But just because you know where it is does not mean you know with 100% certainty where it's going to be. You know what I mean? There's no guarantees and stuff like that. You have probabilities, but inherently the less likely thing will happen. You know what I mean?
Well,
in certain cases, it's not going to be the most probable thing every time.
I think the inverse is true, but not necessarily, because with infinite amount of time, the improbable will happen eventually. I think is what you're going for, right? Or is that something different?
With enough time, anything that can happen will happen.
That's what I was going for, yeah.
Yeah, but with that doesn't mean that if we knew where every single particle was, we could calculate with 100% certainty where it's going to expand out to.
Because if we think about it, in order to calculate it, we would have to have an object, and will that object know where everything inside it is?
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. You killed 62 people. You have conquered philosophy.
Wow. It's all philosophy.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that. I had some fun there. Boop. Nice. So with that, that's all I've got. Hope you enjoyed our first episode of the Wack Pack, and
The whack. You're going with the whack.
we're going with the Wack Pack. If you want to join the Wack Pack, be wacky. Be wacky with the pack. Be
Wacky with the pack.
yeah.
All right.
We'll call our people the Wackies, because they're part of the Wack Pack. Yeah.
Wackies. Wack pack.
Yeah. We'll think about it. Whatever. Y'all have a nice night. This won't be coming out super often because our day jobs make it really hard, but we want to entertain you, or I do. I don't care what he wants. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you again. Bye-bye. What else you got? You got anything?
I'm not an expert on electricity, so take anything I said about it with a grain of salt. That's it.
Tell your mom you love them.